Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, May 23rd. Raqqa is in ruins, like a modern Dresden. This is not precision bomb. Thousands of Syrians are dead and their city devastated. How dare the US, UK and the French military speak for surgical strikes? From Kosovo to Iraq and Syria, the US and its military allies have for years told a tale for precision bombs and surgical strikes. It was a lie then and this is a lie now, when huge numbers of bombs and missiles are unleashed on densely populated cities like Mosul or Raqqa. Civilians are killed in their hundreds, possibly 2,000, but still, and the might for precision and meticulous process persists. Not less because militaries like our own refuse to even go back to the cities they have bombed, and they refuse to acknowledge death unless presented with irrefutable evidence from the likes of amnesty. Last week I did what UK, US and the French military officials refused to do. I went to Raqqa to see for myself what has happened to this city as a result of a mass bombardment by the US-led coalition between June and October 2017. Never before have I seen a city so completely devastated, not just in one district area, but almost entirely. Think Dresden, and you would be close, street after street of windowless halls and buildings, miles of rubble, piles of twisted metal, utter ruin. There have been not assistance for residents desperate to rebuild, and entire families are reduced to living in the bombed out husks and of buildings. Meanwhile, many children spend all day scavenging in the rubs for bits of steel and plastic they can sell us to buy food. The risks injury and death from unsolved building and uncleared landmines. Among those I met in this ruined city was Mohammed, a 28 years old carpenter who cared for his younger brother, Rabia, who is now paralyzed after the coalition airstrike destroyed the building where his family was sheltering in October 2017. Most of his family was killed. Mohammed lost his wife, 2 children, the youngest of whom was 11 days old. His parents, his sisters, her husband, and their 4 children. With his family as devastated as the city they still inhabits, Mohammed has devoted himself to looking after his brother. It's heartbreaking, tragic, and deeply moving. The battle to oust the Islamic State from Raqqa followed the modern US military Black Book, a massive aerial assault conducted with willing military powers here in the UK and France, zero use of group troops, and reliance on proxy fighters and street level. Here in the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces militia, the bombardment was immense. For 4 months, the coalition prodded the city into the ground with thousands of airstrikes, 215 from the UK, says the mod, and 30,000 US artillery rounds. Never mind that artillery is notorious impressive and should not be used in the heavily populated areas. Such use is indiscriminate and international legal parlance. The coalition fired artillery round after artillery round into residential areas for 4 solid months. In fact, as US forces themselves boasted, more artillery was fired into streets, squares, and homes of downtown Raqqa than has been fired in any conflict in the world since Vietnam. As I saw for myself, the results are predictably apocalyptic. 18% of the city has been reduced to ruins. More than 11,000 buildings are inhabitable, and Raqqa is widely considered the most destructive city of the modern times. On top of the latterly irresponsible behavior, the coalition has refused to send investigators into reunited city to establish the truth of its boasts about precision. It has refused to set up a compensation fund for those remained of bereaved by its handiwork. And perhaps most worryingly of all, it has refused to even try to learn a lesson from his last exercise in the mass bomb without responsibility. Recently, Amnesty and the Air Wars presented the UK, US, and the French authorities with deadly evidence from our own painstaking on-the-ground investigation showing that at least 1,600 civilians in Raqqa were killed by the coalition's aerial attacks, 10 times more than previous acknowledged. Coalition runs the rouge that streams from investigations spanning almost 2 years and including multiple visits to Raqqa. We built a database of the victims with names for more than 1,000 of the deaths. For the last 2 years, the coalition's response has been a mix of denial, attacks on the message, and the grounding acknowledgement of a small number of deaths when presented with irrefutable evidence. Last year, after Amnesty published a 70-page report based on 42 sites visiting Raqqa and interviews with 112 beleaguered Raqqa residents, the Defense Secretary Gavin Williamson responded not with alarm at the report's finding but with a protest against Amnesty from the House of Commons dispatch box. Our report was deeply disappointing and disgraceful. We needed to recognize the amazing professionalism of our Royal Air Force, flag waving rather than dealing with the unpalatable facts. This was yet another aggressive denial from a government increasingly unwilling to hold its own military forces to account. Last week, Williamson's successor, Penny Mordaunt, signaled that the UK would in future to even further in its refusal to deal with the alleged war crimes committed by UK forces overseas. The fact that ISIS fighters, terrorists, and effectively held hostage vast population in Syria and Iraq doesn't justify the coalition in this indiscriminate bombing campaign. Our armed forces are supposed to be better than that. If they are not, it is largely because our politicians and top brasses continue to wave their flags and hide behind the lie of precision. In my opinion, UK, US, and France are responsible for the war in Syria. They are responsible for the thousands and thousands of deaths in Syria. Not only Bashar al-Assad or Iran or Russia. I think the US, UK, and the French militaries devastated different cities in Syria, and mainly in Raqqa. It's sad this news is a terrible reading about the thousands and thousands civilian deaths, thousands and thousands children, families in tears. It's terrible. I when this down war in Syria will finish. When I don't know. I think this war will be continued during many years in the future. But I have hope. I hope que this down war finishes immediately. We get out get out from Syria. US forces, UK forces, French forces, Russia forces, Iran's forces. Because not only this terrorism in Syria is the cause for the thousands and thousands deaths and the thousands immigrants of the Syrians immigrated from other countries, but when this war will finish. Thank you very much to watch my new video. If you want to learn English, talk with me in English, come here at class for Guatrdian, or we can do classes by Skype when any place in the world. Thank you very much. Subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you. See you soon. Thank you very much for my friends. Bye.